we are covering today 1.1a, which is in the syllabus, the introduction and the differentiation between micro and macroeconomics. So very important to remember is that those who make the decisions, the choices in the economy, is not only me and you, it's also firms and it's also the government that are involved. Okay, we divide micro and macroeconomics. If you look at the slide with the cartoon on it, you will see that microeconomics more look at the smaller picture of economics, where macroeconomics more look at the bigger picture of economics. And those who make the decisions on allocation of resources in microeconomics is the individuals, the household, and the firms. Where if we look to macroeconomics, then it will obviously be the government with other countries involved. Okay, as we have said that microeconomics look at the demand for a good or a service, the supply for a specific factor of production like labor, and prices of goods and services. And then the business can also decide how the goods must be produced or how many goods they want to produce. Okay, if we have macroeconomics, as I've said, this is very broader look. Here you look at the country economics in general, not what happened in your house or what happened in your business. This is the country's economics. This is the economics of Namibia with the rest of the world. So this is a much broader look. We look at the growth rate of Namibia in comparison to other years or in comparison to other countries. We look at inflation rates, which indicate the prices from previous years to this year. We look at the unemployment rate of our country. And we look at prices or interest rates where it comes to products on average, not a specific product, like I've said, the carrots, or like I've said, the wage of a worker. You look in general, what is the average price of goods and services? And that is influenced or indicated by a measurement of inflation. You have heard about inflation, but inflation, interest rates, economic growth, and unemployment look at the broader part of economics. Okay, I have an example, which you will see on the PowerPoint. There they divide the micro into examples of a business that sell burgers. So here they ask the question, how many burgers must we produce? Then they ask the question, what is the price we must sell the burgers for? And how many workers do we need that work here? Must we train these workers? How much training do they need? So that is workers, your product, and what is happening in your business. But if we look at macroeconomics, for example, here they talk about how many products is produced, goods and services in India, for example. What is the price of all the goods and services on average? How did it increase from one year to another in India? And then they asked the total wages that was earned by workers in that economy. So, and then the last part, they will look at how many workers are employed in this country. Not employed in a business, like in the case of microeconomics, but employed in the country. And that gives you a broader look what is going on in a specific country or in the rest of the world. I hope by this you can identify the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Okay, students must understand that microeconomics is the economic view on individuals, what they demand, what jobs they provide, and households the same, and firms, where macroeconomics is a broader economics or economic view of a country. Okay, you can do the following classwork that is on the board. Here I normally use old newspapers. Give each student a newspaper like this and ask them to cut out 3 articles which they can find on microeconomics and 3 articles that they can find on macroeconomics. And then they indicate this is micro, and they write the answer why they think this is micro. So they must give a reason for their decision. So if they get an article on wage increases that we have here, that the workers of the government claim for higher wages, some of the workers, then this is a problem that they can look at and decide how will we allocate this? Is it a problem for the country, or is it a problem for a business? And or for an individual. And if that's the case, you can decide where you will allocate that. Okay, teachers can discuss these questions with the class after they have wrote down their answers next to each article. They can also mark it for homework mark points. Okay, and then I offer to you also an exam question or a test question where you can test if the student understands this. You can copy-paste articles from newspaper article, and then you can ask the question, determine the reason. If the article is about, or reasons, if the article is about macro or microeconomics, and then you can also ask a question, differentiate between micro and macroeconomics, or define micro and macroeconomics. That is examples you can test your students on. We are today busy with the Namibian Economic Ordinary Syllabus. It's still 1.1, and we still discuss the economic problem, but today we look at the difference between a want and a need, and we will also look at the biggest economic problem, which have to do with limited resources and unlimited wants. Okay, we look at needs. Needs are goods and services that we can go without. Needs are obviously those goods and services that are basic clothes, or basic shelter, or water and food. That is the type of goods and services you can't go without. You can think for yourself if you go without water, or if it's in the winter and you don't have shelter. So that will create then problems. If we look at wants are goods and services we can easily go without. If we say we do need shoes, but we definitely don't need Nike shoes, because then that becomes a want. You can easily go without that. Okay, I have on the board for you 11 different products. I want you to identify these products and decide for me, or decide if this product is a want or a need, and give a reason for that. The first product, which I will use as an example, the first product is milk, and this, for most people, will say that this is a want. Although that you need it for your cereal, or you can say I need it for my cereal, or I need it for my coffee, that is, you can actually drink your coffee without the milk. You can eat your maize porridge without milk. So in that case, I say milk is a want because I can go without it. But for the other products, or that is on this PowerPoint given to you, from 2 to 11, you must indicate next to each of them. Write the product's name, like textbooks, number C, and then also no, textbooks is number 5, for example. Then you write textbooks, you decide if it is a want or a need, and give a reason to that. So you do from 2 to 11, and that can also be marked for a 10-mark question, homework question. Okay, then we realize that wants are for individuals, firms, and the government, unlimited. So I asked the question, why is wants for us unlimited? So if we look at a want is like your cell phone, for example. And reasons why that is unlimited is because technology often change or very quickly change. And then there's something new on the market with new features, and that's why you then feel that I need a new phone. But it's not need, I want a new phone. That is important. Okay, then obviously greed, that lots of people struggle with, that you want more and more and never are satisfied. And then the variety is also for us, encourage us to want more, because if we pass the shelves in the shop, we don't see only one chocolate, we see a variety, and if there's a new one, we want to taste it and try it. Then advertising is also that influence us to want more. You will not even know sometimes about a new product, but if it is advertised on TV or on radio or in the newspaper or on the websites you visit, then you will see the new products that is designed and that is available. So all of this causes that we want more products. It is important that we must realize that if an individual or a business or the government make decisions, they always make a decision that in such a way that they try to economize. Now that means that you try to get the most out of the resources that you have available. And that is important to realize that everyone is working according, or is making decisions according to that. Okay, here's a group work activity that you can look at. We divide you in groups and we want you to look at ways of how you can satisfy your wants and needs. So first make a list of wants and needs that you have, and if you have a specific salary that you earn for this, or to cover this, or you have pocket money that you get, or what else can you do to cover your wants and needs? Come up with ideas, and you can brainstorm a little bit between all of you, and then we will discuss the different ideas. Okay, let us get from you as a summary of how people can solve their wants and needs. We already have said you can earn an income from doing a job, but some people already is earning an income from working, but they need more money. So some people do an extra job, for example, working as a waiter at night, or doing some books for somebody at night, that they can earn more income. Some people produce a good or a service and they sell this, and by that they can earn an income. So if you are a farmer and you produce, say, cabbages, then you earn an income from selling that. If you are a taxi driver and you provide a service, then you earn an income from that. But as I am a teacher, and I earn a salary for the work that I'm doing. So that is my income. For extra income, I can, for example, offer extra classes to students that need that, to earn an extra income. But what else can one do? One can also barter. Barter is a system where I offer you something and you offer me something in return, but there's no money movement. There is no money involved. So, for example, you can tell me, if you have a taxi service, you will each day pick up my child. And I will tell you, for that, I will look after your children and make sure they do each afternoon their homework. So that is the example of barter. We offer towards the two parties a good or a service that satisfies both. We continue with the economic problem, which I have said is wants that is unlimited and resources that is limited. Okay, I have an example for you about the economic problem. You as a student have only available to 200 Namibian dollars, but you want a textbook that costs 150, and you want a warm sweater because it's winter, which costs 180. So you can't afford both because you only have $200. So you see, your wants is far more than your income. What your resource is the $200. And what you want is the textbook and the warm sweater. So if you then, in this case, can identify what your wants is, and you can identify what your limited resources is, like I already have said, the $200 is your limited resource, then you will realize that if you are in a situation that your income is not enough to cover your wants, or your resource that you have, the limited resource, is not enough to cover all your wants, you actually are in a situation of scarcity, that you experience scarcity. And what scarcity causes is that we must choose. We must choose which one of the two products we are going to, or is our first choice, and which one for now we will give up. Okay, if we look at this situation that is here, you can do this as group work. Students must give an example of a business and the government that experience an economic problem. So they can write down a business, any business they can use, and then wants that the business have and the resources that is not enough or that is limited. The same you can do for the government. You can write down all the wants they have and then what is their limit resource. So the only thing you do is you write the wants for the business and you write the wants for the government and indicate then limited resource. That we have the unlimited ones and the limited resource. And that we know that due to this scarcity occurred and that we must make decisions. So for you then at the end, after you have worked together as a group, you can come up with an example where you, for example, say, Metro is a wholesaler. Metro need a truck to transport their products to the retailers, and Metro also need a forklift to get the products from the shelves into the trucks or from the trucks into the shop, in the store. But Metro can't at this stage afford both of these products, so the reason that they have is that they do not have enough money at this stage, and that's why they experience scarcity and must make a choice. In their case, they decide that they at this stage need the truck more than they need the forklift. They feel, for example, or perhaps that they can use the workers that they have to help them in the beginning. Then if we look at the government, the example is that the government need more hostels and schools. And but all the police stations in the country also said they need new cars. So now there are two requests, and the government can just afford or a hostel to a few schools, or they can afford cars for all the different police stations in the country. So in that case, it's also the resource that is limited is also money, and it also put the government in a situation that they must decide, this year we can just do the hostels. And then we can't afford the vehicles now, we will put it aside for a next year or a next period. Okay, so again, I emphasize that you must realize what your wants is and what your unlimited wants is and what your limited resources is. And that you, as a Metro or as the government, experience scarcity and must make a decision. Okay, the homework that you can do is that you can give an example and then indicate it, as I've said, examples for a business and examples for the government, where you indicate what products is limited and what products is unlimited, and for that you can allocate 4 marks for such a question. Okay, it is important that you need to know the difference between a want and a need, and that you understand what the economic problem is. And if we conclude, we can say it is about scarcity. Okay, that finalized then 1.1a for today.
Share with us on #LearnOn1. Tell us what you're learning and where you're learning it from. Send us your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better. We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
With some sunshine.
The hits to the economy are staggering. It's happening in nearly every single country. This virus respects no borders.
Look at all these businesses. Closed. That one. Closed. Next door. Closed.
It's unprecedented, historic. Never before in the history of oil trading has the price fallen below zero.
Travel restrictions are decimating the airline industry, with many saying it's just a matter of time before another carrier goes bust.
3/4 of America's economy depend on consumer spending. It is hammering the once robust American economy.
South Africa's economic hardship will continue. The economy is set to contract by over 6%.
I'm only going to do the introduction today, and for the first exam paper, we're just going to do the introduction with right-angled triangles. So this is a right-angled triangle. There's theta, and we label this then as the opposite side, the hypotenuse.